the 40th minute, Iran scored its first goal. The huge crowd exploded into jubilation with the chant, "Maryam, our shining sun, who's the winner? Iran." And as Le Monde put it, "Come on boys, attack and knock the mullahs down." Sunday, June 21st, Gerland Stadium in France's second largest city, Lyon, was the site of the game that was billed as the most politically charged match in the football world's most prestigious competition, Iran versus the United States. Pundits called it much more than a football game, and it was, but for entirely different reasons. The principal face-off turned out to be not between Tehran and Washington, but between the Iranian resistance and the mullah's regime. The Iranian people were represented not only by the players on the field, but also by tens of thousands of Iranians in the packed 44,000-seat Gerland Stadium. The mullahs had hoped to exploit the event for their political expediency, but as CNN reported, opponents clearly outstripped the regime's supporters. International news agencies, including the Associated Press, reported that the vast majority of the Iranian crowd voiced support for the Iranian resistance, its president-elect Maryam Rajavi, and the resistance leader Masoud Rajavi. Viva Viva Rajavi, down with Khatami, chanted tens of thousands of Iranians converging on Lyon from all over the world. Their message was simple: the Iranian people reject Khatami and other ruling mullahs. According to the Times of London, the political message of this match, personified by thousands of fans wearing Rajavi t-shirts and waving Rajavi banners, was condemnation of the government in Tehran. As the military band played the mullah's official anthem, Iranians sang the alternative national anthem in defiance. The breeze broke free a portrait of Maryam Rajavi suspended from balloons which had been lodged in the rafters. And then down came the picture, drifting slowly past where the Iranian players stood in a pre-game huddle. The banner went right on by, stopping finally at dead center field. The Danish daily Extra Bladet wrote, "Just before the kickoff, the Iranian fans brandished their T-shirts. Now the journalists could see the message. It was short, sharp and clear. The picture of a woman called Rajavi." The world is used to names like Gandhi and Mandela as symbols of protest against injustice and repression. Today, we must get used to the name Rajavi. Toronto Star had the following to say: "The Mujahideen, the Iranian resistance which comprised the vast majority of the audience of 44,000, commanded the stage." In collusion with the mullah's regime, French police imposed every possible restriction and pressure on Iranian opponents of the clerical rule in order to prevent their presence at the stadium during the match. Draconian measures were put in force at the entrance to the stadium, and detailed body search was carried out. When hundreds of banners and pictures began turning up in the stadium, the authorities were shocked. Thousands of Iranians were refused visa to France, while busloads of them arriving at French borders from different neighboring countries were turned away by French border police with no justification. All this, however, could not prevent the tens of thousands of Iranians from displaying their emotions at Gerland Stadium. Here, every Iranian was an opponent of the mullah's regime. Iranians from all walks of life showed that they regard the National Council of Resistance as the embodiment of their aspirations and social and political goals. footage, the special anti-riot police attacked the Iranian spectators in several parts of the stands. They targeted the banners and posters and did their utmost to snatch away all signs and pictures held by the oppositionists. But as the New York Times reported about the Iranians' vigorous but peaceful protest, new banners and pictures kept popping up like mushrooms. In the 40th minute, Iran scored its first goal. The huge crowd exploded into jubilation with the chant, "Maryam, our shining sun, who's the winner? Iran." And as Le Monde put it, "Come on boys, attack and knock the mullahs down." But the mullah's censorship had found its way to France. The Italian daily Il Giornale wrote, "According to FIFA's instructions, television cameras were not allowed to show the demonstrators even for a moment. It was as if the orders had come from Tehran." The censors remained obedient during the entire game. The final score, Iran 2, US 1. But as the French daily Parisien put it, the opponents of the regime were the winners. Gerland had never witnessed anything like this. Subsequently, tens of thousands of Iranians kept demonstrating and celebrating in the streets of Lyon. What went on in Lyon on June 21st was described by Radio France Info as a genuine and impressive show of force by the Iranian resistance against all the mullahs' attempts against it and their all-out collusion with the French. At a press conference in Paris on June 18, the Iranian resistance uncovered the conspiracy by Paris and Tehran to prevent the presence of Iranian oppositionists in the Iran-US game. The resistance announced that Mousavi, an intelligence ministry deputy, had been sent to France with a group of secret police interrogators and torturers and 5 Guards Corps generals. They brought with them a list of names of Iranian opposition activists to enable the French police to arrest them during the World Cup games on the pretext of being football hooligans. On the morning of June 21st, while French border police were turning away Iranians deemed to be opponents of the mullah's regime, Mohammad Mohaddessin, chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, and a number of renowned Iranian sports champions held a press conference in Lyon to denounce the dirty deal between France and the clerical regime and the subsequent measures taken by the French against Iranian opponents. The measures included denying entry visas to Iranians and turning them away from border posts. Addressing some 120 French and international correspondents attending the conference, Mohaddessin said the game has become totally politicized despite all the claims to the contrary. He asked, "Isn't this an act of politically staining sports?" Despite it all, the Iranian resistance ultimately prevailed.